All right, what we're gonna do for today's workout is a triplet, so 3 different movements. These are all body weight, so we don't need any additional equipment other than some space on the floor. And then I'm gonna demonstrate the movements. Go ahead and try this as I'm doing it or afterwards, and then we'll get it set up and we'll talk about the format of the workout. So the first movement is going to be a push-up. There's a couple options for this. We could do I'll start with the kind of the easiest to the most challenging. The easiest would be a elevated push-up against the wall. So you would just stand up nice and tall, have your hands straight out in front of you, maybe down just a little bit from shoulder height. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna keep your body in a nice rigid position. You're gonna lean towards the wall, don't smash your face, and then you're gonna press out away from the wall. So if this is too easy for you, which for a lot of people this is likely going to be too easy, then the next level down would be an elevated push-up on the back of a chair or a couch or a box or something like that. I'll demonstrate with this post here. So let's now say the back of the height is about this height. If I had a back of a couch, I'd have both hands on it. Since I just have this post, I'm just going to use my hands here. And then you would, same idea, bringing your body towards that object and then pressing away with your elbows fully extended towards it, elbows fully extended away, keeping my shoulders down and back. That's one of the most important parts here. The next most challenging version would then be a kneeling push-up. So this is where I'm in this kneeling plank position, shoulders down and back. I have a straight line from my ear to my knee, or as close as I can to that. And then I'm gonna come all the way down to the ground and then press all the way back up to lock out my elbows. Now, if you can't go all the way down in any of these variations, you could also do like a half range of motion push-up, and that's also a great option. So if the kneeling push-up is too easy, you want something more challenging from there, then we'd go to the toe push-up. So on your toes, this is kind of a classic push-up position that you're familiar with. We're coming all the way down, touching the chest, and then pressing all the way back up. And again, notice that I'm focusing on really keeping my shoulders down and back throughout that range of motion. What I want to try to avoid is my shoulders raising up towards my ears like this as I press down and back. Instead, shoulders down and back, and then pressing out as I come. So those are the options for the push-up. You're going to be doing 5 per round of that, and it's 8 total rounds. So it's on the longer side of workouts. The second movement is going to be a sit-up. So this is on the ground. We're going to go feet together, knees apart. And with this, there's kind of 2 variations that we're going to use today. There's more of a crunch, which is a half range of motion, shorter range of motion sit-up, and then there's the full sit-up. So let me show you the full sit-up first with this one. So this is starting at the top, shoulders in front of my hips. I'm going to come to the ground, throw my arms, sit up all the way to return that position. That would be the full sit-up. If that's too challenging or this becomes too challenging as the reps build, you can do a crunch style. So this is going to be coming down to the ground, throwing your arms, trying to come up, but maybe only coming up halfway, and just doing your best you can each time to challenge that range of motion. And then again, the full sit-up would be coming all the way up each time. So that's going to be 10 repetitions per round, and again, 8 total rounds. And then the third and final movement is going to be air squats or body weight squats. So I'll show you that from the front and from the side and talk about the options with that. So we want to start with our feet about hip width apart, maybe just outside of that. And this is a little bit on depending on feel for you. And then what you want to do is send your hips back in space and then your knees apart as you descend with your hips, all the while keeping your chest up and then returning to standing. I'll show you a couple of those. I can kind of do whatever I want with my hands on my head, hands out in front, hands across my chest, whatever feels comfortable for you. I'm going to show you a few from the side. Again, sending my hips back, knees apart, trying to keep my chest up, and then returning to standing. I'm trying to keep my butt muscles engaged, my core muscles engaged, and really fighting to keep that nice upright posture. And again, wherever you want with your hands, whatever's comfortable. Now, to scale this or make it a little easier if that's too challenging, first you can go less range of motion. So don't go quite as deep. If this is too much for you, hips below knees, which is what we're shooting for, then just go to the depth that you feel comfortable. If that's still too challenging, then I would recommend hanging onto something for a little bit of balance, whether that's the wall, whether that's the back of the chair or back of the couch or countertop, somewhere where you feel nice and stable if you need to grab onto that for balance support. And for those, we're doing 15 per round, and again, 8 total rounds. All right, so this is a workout that it's a good idea to have maybe a glass of water nearby. It's not going to take forever, but it's a good amount of repetitions, and we're going to work our way through it at a methodical pace. So grab your water. I'm going to set the clock. It's going to be, we're trying to get through this work as quickly as we can safely, and you need to finish the 5 push-ups before you move on to the 10 sit-ups. You need to finish the 10 sit-ups before you move on to the 15 air squats. And then you need to finish those 15 air squats before you move back on to the push-ups to start the next round. Now you can split those up into as many little chunks as you need to. For example, if you're on your sit-ups and you do your 6 or 7 the way through and you just can't get that next one, just rest for a minute, or less than a minute hopefully, but rest for as much time as you need to in order to continue to the next repetition. And you can do that for any of these movements. It's set up in a way that you likely won't have to take too many breaks. You can kind of use the transitions from one movement to the next to recover yourself a little bit, take a few breaths or a sip of water or whatever you need. But I'm going to go through this with you. We're going to do this workout together and we'll do our best. All right. So we're going to start with those 5 push-ups on round 1 in 10 seconds. I'm going to do a couple different variations throughout, so feel free to do the same. 3, 2, 1, go. 5 push-ups. And then we're on our back for 10 sit-ups or crunches. And then after those 10 sit-ups, we're on our feet for 15 air squats. Try to keep your chest up with these as best you can. Make sure you're breathing. Once you finish 15, you can mark that down. And now we're on round number 2 for 5 more push-ups. Shoulders down and back. Once we get to 5, we are back to our sit-ups for 10. After those 10 sit-ups, we're back on our feet. 15 more air squats. And then after those 15 air squats, round 2 is completed. Back to the ground for 5 push-ups. After those 5 push-ups, 10 more sit-ups. Make sure you're breathing throughout these. Remember, just chipping away nice and steady. After those 10 sit-ups, back to our feet. 15 more air squats. And then after those 15, finished round 3, back to the ground for round 4. 5 more push-ups. And then back to our 10 sit-ups. After those 10 sit-ups, we're back to standing. 15 air squats. And then once those 15 are done, round 4 is completed and we're already halfway through it. Back to the ground, back to 5 push-ups. And then 10 more sit-ups. Once we're done with those 10 sit-ups, back to standing, 15 more air squats. Once you finish 15, mark that down. Round 5 completed. Down to the ground for round 6 of our push-ups. 5 more push-ups. Then back to sit-ups. Keep on chipping away, making good progress. 10 sit-ups. After those 10, back to your feet. 15 more air squats. Nice job. Round 6 completed after those 15. We got 2 more rounds. Back to the ground. 5 more push-ups. And then second to last round of sit-ups. 10 times. After those 10, back to your feet. 15 air squats. After those 15, round 7's completed, and we're on our final round. Last set of those push-ups. Final 5. Make him look good. And then our final set of 10 sit-ups. Finally, back to our feet. After those 10, one last time for 15 air squats. And 15, all done. If you're finished right now, we've just over 13 minutes. Very good work. If you're finishing up, keep up the good work. Keep that steady pace up and just chip away until you're done. Once you've completed it, try to bring your heart rate down. Doing big inhales. If you can make it through your nose, even better. Slow, controlled exhales. Again, big inhale through your nose. Slow exhale. Try that a couple rounds, and that's really helpful to bring your heart rate down. Nice work today. I'm looking forward to the next one.